The time is already 29 minutes past 6 o'clock. In a few moments, we will start our program this Holy Tuesday, the 15th of April, 2025.
Kung timog ng Mindanao, may isang lungsod na hinirang. Ang likas niyang kayamanan ay walang kapantay. Mga bundok, dagat, lupain, laging sagana sa pagkain. At ang magagandang tanawin, kaluan ng aliw. Ngunit yan, lungsod ng Davao, sa iyong paglalakbay. Sa ngiting kaunlaran, ikaw ay paglilingkuran. Tayo'y Davaoenyo, na tapat at totoo. Pangarap ay mata mo, kaluwalhatian mo, lungsod ng paraiso. Mutya, lungsod ng Davao, sa iyong paglalakbay. Sa ngiting kaunlaran, ikaw ay paglilingkuran. Tayo'y Davaoenyo, na tapat at totoo. Pangarap ay mata mo, kaluwalhatian mo, lungsod ng paraiso. Pangarap ay mata mo, kaluwalhatian mo, lungsod ng paraiso.
Medina ang lungsod nga natawhan, Misamis Oriental ang atong lalawigan. Madnong dapit nga nahitud sa amihang Mindanao. Ulahan ang mga lumulupyo sa 19 mong barangay na malinaw. Nilhon ang panag-igsuunay na matag-usa ang kalipay. Ang katawhan mong maapi-apihon, ang mga sinagtanon, nagkahiu sa maskin, unsang relihiyon tungod sa guma sa labaw. Makakagahom, usa
sa kahanduran. Makita mo maanindot kaayo ang kinaiyahan. Asul nga kadagatan, pugnong kahanginan, preskong isdaan sa lagyahan. Perteng kaumahan, mapagkalpuhong kalubihan. Busok nga sagingan, kitabuhian sa tanan. Panabo, ikaw ang kalbo. Panabo, ang paraiso. Imong pangalan, di ko'y kayuntan, hangtod sa kahangturan. Ang iyang mga katauhan, kugihan o kasaligan. Dagman o pobre, tanan gusto mo silbi, makikbatok sa kaaway mo, barok sa pagsulay, makikpiso upan sa hiniusa. Kusog Panabo, ikaw ang kalbo ko. Panabo, ang paraiso. Imong pangalan, di ko'y kalimutan, hangtod sa kahangturan. Panabo, Panabo, Panabo.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for granting us a community that is safe, inclusive, and nurturing, and for blessing us with local leaders who do their work with our best interests at heart. We come before you today in a spirit of unity and support for one of those leaders, our former mayor and president, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. In these challenging times, we ask for your guidance and strength to surround him. Grant him wisdom as he navigates the difficulties brought about by persecution and injustice. May our prayers uplift him in moments of doubt and remind him that he is loved, especially by the Davaoenos that he has served for many years. Help us to stand together as one people, strong, resilient, and uncompromising towards truth and justice. Guide us in fostering understanding and compassion among our fellow citizens, even with those whose opinions differ from ours. Lord, instill in our hearts a spirit of cooperation and solidarity as we strive to build a better future for all. May your light shine upon our nation, guiding us through the storms we face. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
On its 10th year, Mindanao's biggest pageant and the only international pageant that promotes the preservation and protection of the global environment is set to conquer once again the bigger stage and platform. Carousel Productions Incorporated and MBV Events Productions in cooperation with IPI and RC Dental Center presenting the 10th edition of the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025. Witness the freshest and the most environmentally driven women warriors of Mother Earth as they compete for the most coveted Mindanao edition's crown and titles of Earth, Air, Water, Fire, and Ecotourism. Be prepared, be brave, be an Earth warrior. The Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025. Soon. This event is also in partnership with Moonlight Events and Productions.
On its 10th year, Mindanao's biggest pageant and the only international pageant that promotes the preservation and protection of the global environment is set to conquer once again the bigger stage and platform. Carousel Productions Incorporated and MBV Events Productions in cooperation with IPI and RC Dental Center, presenting the 10th edition of the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025. Witness the freshest and the most environmentally driven women warriors of Mother Earth as they compete for the most coveted Mindanao edition's crown and titles of Earth, Air, Water, Fire, and Ecotourism. Be prepared, be brave, be an Earth warrior. The Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025. Soon. This event is also in partnership with Moonlight Events and Productions.
Hi guys, I'm Phoebe Villamore, and you guys are now watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
I'm Maria Isabel Pelayo, your Mutya ng Davao 2023, and you're watching Kadangpan with Carlo Dolier.
Hi, this is Piligrina Jendi Bentayo, your Patnubay ng Davao 2023, and you are watching Kadangpan Live with Mr. Carlo.
Hi, this is Lucy Amor Lamitin, your Pag-asa ng Davao 2023. You're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier. Nice to see you. My name is Joanna Marie B. Franken, and I'm your Dio ng Davao 2023. You're watching Kadangpan Live. This is your senior ng Davao 2023, Jemila and Faye Canapis, and you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier. This is Trisha Marie Dalmo, and you are watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Hi sa inyong tanan, Ann Feyo here, and you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Mabuhay ug madayaw. This is Rebecca Gail Celis, your Mutya ng Davao 2025, and you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Mabuhay ug madayaw. This is Dana Gabriel Taufa, your D1 ng Davao 2025, and you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Mabuhay ug madayaw. This is Catriona Batu, your Pag-asa ng Davao 2025, and you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Sawadika, mabuhay ug madayaw. This is Angel Alicaba, your Patnubay ng Davao 2025, and you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Detalyado, komprehensibo para sa tanan. Ang matag impormasyon nga angay natukion. Ayaw kahadlok kung aduna kay imong opinyon. Pagadaygon ang angay nga idayi. Sa katiling mga puno o pagsadi, nasudnon o lokal man naghuod-uod, kaing suunan nabawin nyo ayaw kaguod. Sa katilungan, kinaiyakan, komunidad, kauban ng kabatan-unan, kababaihan, sa kahimsugan, sa kabaranggayan, para sa punitanan o kinahanglan ng kamatuuran. Iwalay pabor-pabor pag-abot sa kadangpan, balita nga tinud-anay. Kadangpan kita sabay-sabay, kadangpan live online dirita, kauban nato sa online dig balita. Lupak sa panutana, komentaryo opinyon, kauban ninyo pirmi og sulong buon. Kaigon ng angay nga pagganaigon, sayop na binuhatan atong sa palpalon. Kadagpang kalaguniran ni Ana mo alagad online o gone. Kadangpan live online dirita, kauban nato sa online dig balita. Lupak sa panutana, komentaryo opinyon, kauban ninyo pirmi og sulong buon. Kaigon ng angay nga pagganaigon, sayop na binuhatan atong sa palpalon. Kadagpang kalaguniran ni Ana mo alagad online o gone.
Mabuhay ug madayaw, Sir Carlo, and also to Kadangpan channel. Hello everyone, it's nice to see you again.
From Kadangpan Digital all the way from Davao City.
Well, welcome!
Ikaduhan ang higayon na naka-attend aning kapihan.
Thank you.
Kadangpan Live, the fastest growing online news channel.
When you search Mindanao, lalabas yung mga reports ng Kadangpan.
We do no harm, we are independent, we try to take both sides of the story.
Tuntunan mo sila. Tuntunan mo sila. And thankful ko kayo may ba na nag-participate sila ng Turkish bath, Moroccan bath. And we also have massage here. We have other events.
Mayong adlaw, mabuhay ug madayaw gikan sa dakbayan sa Davao.
From Kadangpan Digital all the way from Davao City.
Hello po, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lisa May
Hello.
Vergara Ruiz.
Hello, Sir Dolier.
Yes, all the way from Davao City.
Yes, I know you already.
Yes.
Hi, sir.
I hope that you will be able to achieve all of your goals, especially being a media. I hope you continue to prosper and success in the future.
Mabuhay ug madayaw. Thank you so much for having me, Sir Carlo. Salamat kaayo. I am very honored to be here with Sir Carlo, no, to have a heart-to-heart interview.
Hello po sa lahat ng viewers. Si Sir Carlo, mabuhay ug madayaw. Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
And our media partners, Kadangpan Live Online.
You're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier, and I'm so happy you guys are here and watching this show.
You guys are now watching Kadangpang Live with Carlo Dolier.
And you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
We are watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier. You're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier. Kamo nagalantaw og Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Paminaw kanunay sa Kadangpan Live.
Mabuhay ug madayaw, and I am watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo.
You're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
You're watching live in Kadangpan with Carlo Dolier.
Kadangpan Live here on Facebook together with Carlo Dolier. You are watching Kadangpan Live by Carlo Dolier.
You are watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
You are watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
You're watching Kadangpan with Carlo Dolier.
You are watching Kadangpan Live with Mr. Carlo.
You're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
You're watching Kadangpan Live.
And you're watching Kadangpangan Live with Carlo Dolier.
And you are watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
And you're watching Kadangpan Live by Carlo Dolier.
You're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
You are now watching Kadangpan Live.
And you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier. And you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
When you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Then you're watching Kadangpan Live with Carlo Dolier.
Pupo para sa atong tanan ug sa tibuok kinaiyahan. Kadangpan Live ang #1 sa mutanan.
Oras sa tibok kapupunan ni ining Kaislas Mindanao alas 6:59 ang takna ni ini kagabhion. Mayong gabi, mabuhay ug madayaw gikan sa dakbayan sa Davao. Impunto na alas 7 ang takna sa gabi mga kaigsunan kong mga Davaoenyo ug Mindanao na nakatutok sa atuang pagpanaguban-uban ni ining oras sa untaan namos kapis kay mayong kay hintang atong mga tiglantaw, tigpaminaw, tigpanubay ug tigtutok sa atong programa. Welcome na usab once again sa atuang Martes Santo na edisyon sa atong programang Kadangpan Live Online. Kauban gihapon ang inyong ubos nga alagad online ug on-air Carlo Dolier. And we are now simultaneously broadcasting live over the Kadangpan Digital Facebook page and YouTube channel. And it's being cross-posted here on the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao Search Facebook page. You may wonder nga nganong naataw sa MPEM 2025 Facebook page tungod kay sa katuyuan nga gusto nato na we'll get a sneak peek on whom you will meet sa atoang mga kaigsunan. Roughly, we invited 3 of the 20 candidates from all over Mindanao for this meaningful special live interview as the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao search is fast approaching. O sa way paglangay ato nang ipaila-ila ni ining mga orasa in alphabetical order. Kaya ako ang main host ni ining atong program. Let's not wait further ado because we'll introduce muna ang pagpaila-ila sa ato ang first candidate. She was formerly the contender for Hiyas ng Pilipinas. And right now, she is one of the candidates for the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025. Please go on with the camera because let's all welcome the pride of the municipality of Medina, province of Misamis, Oriental. Let's all welcome Abbas LUIEVA BERNADOS. Mabuhay og madayaw.
Mabuhay and madayaw, Mr. Dolier.
Yes, we will get back to you later on because this is just the introduction. You'll get to know this 3 ladies right now. The second contender was all the way from Malaybalay City, Bukidnon. And she's the former Miss Malaybalay 2023. Let's all welcome the member of the JCI Bukidnon, Maragway, GENIROSE CALAMBRO. Mabuhay ug madayaw.
Maayod hadaluman, madayaw Davao.
Yes, thank you so much for your introduction, but I will get back to you later on. And last but far from least, silingang syudad sa tuwang Davao region. Pero of course, all the way from Panabo City, Davao del Norte, and she is the former Binibining Panabo 2024. Musalmot siya sa Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao Search 2025 for this edition. Let's all welcome the pride of Panabo City, Davao del Norte, Queenie Marie DAQUIO. Mabuhay ug madayaw. I cannot hear you because you're... Okay.
Yeah. So,
Again.
mabuhay ug madayaw, Davao.
Yes, good evening, ladies. And let's all show them right now sa atong interview, sa atong screen. Hello to the lovely ladies. First and foremost, ladies, kumusta naman mo? I will start off with the opening remarks of our lovely candidate from Medina, Misamis, Oriental. Kumusta na ka? Mabuhay ug madayaw. Again, your opening statement. LUIEVA may BERNADOS.
Mabuhay and madayaw. I am LUIEVA May Cortez BERNADOS from the home of the 7 festivals of Misamis Oriental, Medina.
Right. The opening statement of our Miss Malaybalay 2023, GENIROSE CALAMBRO. Okay, it seems that we're having technical problems sa tuwang connections sa tong second contender. Nakamute ka, GENIROSE.
So, apologies on that.
Your opening statement.
All right, so once again, maayad hadaluman, madayaw Davao. My name is GENIROSE CALAMBRO, proudly from the heart of Mindanao, cool place with warm people, city of Malaybalay.
All right, last but far from least, from B and C now to D. The opening statement of Queenie Marie DAQUIO, our former Binibining Panabo 2024.
Mabuhay ug madayaw. I am Queenie Marie DAQUIO, 22, from the banana capital of the Philippines, Panabo City.
All right. All right, so looks like we have introduced yours truly, but this is not your typical interview for this juncture, as I am going to ask impromptu questions for our 3 of the lovely candidates. I will start off muna with the Miss Medina, Misamis Oriental, none other than LUIEVA May BERNADOS. So I'll isalang na nato una si LUIEVA May aning tong pangutana for the interest of our viewers who are watching via the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025 search Facebook page and Kadangpan Digital YouTube channel. Please pay attention to my question to the 2 other ladies if you can hear me well. So pay attention. Here's the first question that I like to read for in my mind. No scripts in my monitor, just purely from the heart. The question is, of course, being, in the age of social media that has relentlessly maybe doing good, but there are also things that do harm in our society today due to some irregular postings that might affect and would cause confusion, especially to the electorate that gives this information that made people with a lot of confusions. So the question is, how will our young adults and young voters that would find ourselves in the midst of the political turmoil that has happened in your respective localities, as well as its awareness, the digital literacy for our young voters to choose of a candidate that from the heart with the true advocacies and true platforms?
Well, thank you so much for that question, Mr. Dolier. as an influencer, it is very important for me that for my viewers to have a quality of information that I speak throughout my social media platforms. And when in terms of political, choosing a leader for our upcoming election, I think that it's very important that we give them the awareness, especially when it comes to digital information. And let us always keep in mind that there is so much more with what we see on social media. And my message for everyone who is using social media, because I guess everybody is using social media nowadays, it is very important that we put in our mind and in our hearts that we should get to know our future leaders, because it is important and we should never do the same mistake twice that we did before in the past. And that should serve as our lesson that we should choose quite quality leaders that could really uphold the values as Filipinos for the whole Philippines. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Same question going to Generous Calambro.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Mr. Dollier. Okay, I think nowadays we live in the age of social media, and that is a very powerful tool that connects. But with that power, of course, it comes with a huge responsibility, especially the one that you've mentioned, irregular postings and disinformation. I think it have created confusion, especially among young people. So, as an NSTP instructor, see the importance of teaching students to verify sources, think and use social media not just for expression but for education purposes. And when we equip the youth or these students with the necessary skills, I think we're not just protecting them, we are strengthening our democracy and also shape responsible, informed citizens. So that's what I think.
All right.
Thank you.
Same question to Queenie Marie DAQUIO.
Okay, so just like what has been mentioned, we are living in an era where social media really plays a crucial part in our daily lives. We use social media to socialize and to communicate with each other. And one thing that I really observed in our social media today is that it is also used to misinform. And especially now that we are facing various political chaos, it is really important to remind everyone, especially our youth, those who are first time voters, to really fact check. We really have to embody or to embrace social or like literacy, media literacy, where we know how to distinguish between factual information and those who are fake news. So with that, we can be able to really know and assess our leaders and to really choose those who are really deserving of our votes. Let us always remember that every vote that we have can impact the political or the our government, and through that we really have to remind ourselves that each and every vote of us is really important.
All
So we
right.
really need to choose leaders who are really deserving.
All right. So that's the first question, ladies. So are you ready for the second question, as what we wanted to, for the interest of the viewers and also for the electorate? Now, the second question, an impromptu question that although leaders right now seeking for re-election, or rather first time or neophyte candidates, had a role to play in delivering political, heartfelt agendas, especially for the betterment of our community. However, there are some who did not include their agendas on the aspect of environmental awareness. So, what is the challenge for our candidates, regardless of positions running in your different localities? for including their agendas and their platform of government, which is for the protection, conservation, and preservation of our Mother Earth, and it includes the coastal barangays of your localities. Let's all start with Queenie Marie DAQUIO.
I'm really sorry, sir. I think I've lost my connection in the middle of the question po, sir. Can you repeat it po?
Again, I would like to reiterate my question. It is in regards to the candidates, of course, of their respective local positions that they have personal heartfelt advocacies that they would implement for their political, I don't know, political agendas, but however, they did not include their political agendas with uh, environmental aspects. So, what is the challenge and to the candidates for our electorate that they should include their platform of government, which is the environmental awareness for the preservation, conservation, and protection of our Mother Earth? It includes the coastal barangays of your locality.
Okay, so one thing about Mindanao is that we are really rich with natural resources, and to our leaders, it is very important, especially our electorates. It is really important to remind everyone that we really have to protect and preserve our natural resources, especially that I believe that most of our localities here in Mindanao really depends on their natural resources. For instance, here in my locality in the city of Panabo, one of our major source of income is our agriculture. With that, it is very important to really remind our leaders to have agendas that could help protect and preserve our natural resources. In that sense, we can be able to really preserve our natural resources and to preserve the things or our natural resources, which is our source of income, that could help us in our daily necessities. And it is very important also to remind everyone that our nature cannot or can survive without us, but we cannot survive without nature. With that, we really have to help in preserving that so that we can have more resources for us to live more and to have more to eat or more resources to sell or more resources to sell that we can be able to sustain our daily needs. And one thing that really lacks in our society today is the reminder or to remind everyone that through our macro efforts, our actions, little actions, we can be able to help in preserving our natural resources and help in mending and reserving or preserving our Mother Earth. So it is not just a job for for our leaders, but it is a job and responsibility for every one of us. Thank you.
All right. So, same question going to Generous Calambro, the pride of Malaybalay City, Bukidnon.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So, I reckon that leadership is not just is about creating lasting impact, and of course includes taking care of our environment, while many leaders running for re-election focus on development and service delivery. And yes, environmental awareness is often here in Malaybalay City. Our government has taken steps to advocate for the environment through the implementation of city ordinances that promote sustainability and environmental protection. So, however, I think there's always a room for improvement. And as citizens, we must support and push for leaders who integrate environmental advocacy into their platforms. And as an advocate of sustainable development, I think I can support through education to community based initiatives like waste segregation and tree planting. And through that, we can build a future where progress and nature thrive together. Because I think a truly progressive leader is someone who not only builds for today but protects the planet for tomorrow.
All right. Same question going to Loiva May Bernados.
Mr. Dolier, it is very much my pride to say that here in my locality in Medina, even in province wide, we have a very strong policies when it comes to environmental protection, conservation, and of course in protecting those people that lives within the community. Well, in my province here in Misamis Oriental and in Medina, we celebrate specifically seven festivities, and two of those are related to environment. That is the Alta Tierra Festival that we celebrate, and also the coastal cleanup that we do annually. And as a woman with a purpose, I think that my role in this juncture is that we need to be participative because our leaders might have the best solutions for our environment, the best causes, but it will be useless if we have citizens who is not participating with the action and the movement. And of course, here the leaders that we have, even those running and re-elect, I just hope that we would have the continuation of the strong upholds of advocacies that we have, especially in waste management, knowing that Misamis Oriental have a lot of industries here. And I think that waste management, proper waste management in particular, is very important. And as an advocate of marine protection, it is my pride and it is my um, privilege to be able to say that our leaders here are really doing great impacts for our community, for our environment.
All right. So thank you for answering our second question, ladies. This time, it's going to be the third question that I hope that you would pay attention very carefully, as this is the product of my own mind based on personal observations and thoughts. Now, the third question is, in the line of, let's just say, the campaign season, there are some individuals who, or some candidates who tried to make false statements in terms of, let's just say, in terms of race, skin color, and also our gender equality, which to many of us will be ridiculed and will brought into confusion that they use remarks that are way beyond normal proportions, especially the misogynistic remarks, also intimidated with some sectors of our differently abled persons and our LGBTQIA plus community. Is it, of course, being a woman of the earth and also an advocate for women empowerment, how will you give a message to our electorate, our and also to the voters that they should choose a leader or a candidate that is has a critical thinker, has respect for our sectors in the LGBTQIA plus community, the PWDs, the single moms, and also our youth today. Let's all start with Generous Calambro.
Right, yes. Thank you so much for that, sir. As a woman of the earth, I believe that leadership must be rooted in respect for people, for truth, and for dignity. And in today's world, it's very disheartening to see and hear the candidates who spread false information or make misogynistic and discriminatory remarks about gender, sexuality, or race. So, to our electorate, please, I urge you, and also for the voters, to please choose leaders who uplift rather than divide and who stand for inclusivity, truth,
All
truth,
right.
and compassion. Let us vote for those leaders who those leaders not based on popularity or power that they have, but on the integrity, track record, and their vision. But because the future of our nation lies in the hands of those who respect every human being and put the earth all share. And for the candidates and who are running for the position, I hope that you will have the heart and the respect for the people and for our earth. So that's it, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Same question going to Queenie Marie Dacchio.
Okay, so first of all, we are living in a country where we have our democratic government. It is a government that should be of the people and for the people. And with that, it is best to remind our leaders, especially our candidates, that you should embody or encompass a pro people leadership or government where you should respect, just like what has been mentioned a while ago, that you should respect each differences that we have, especially that we are diverse in nature. We have different gender and sexual orientation. We have our PWDs who need special care, and we also have our people who have different um, lives and different experiences. With that, our leaders should always respect each differences that our people has for them to be able to lead efficiently and effectively. It is best to remind everyone that, or our leaders in particular, that if you are to lead a locality or a place, you should always respect and treat everyone equally. You should give equal respect regardless of the differences, especially of in different perspectives or opinions that you have with other people. With that, I believe or I encourage everyone, especially our voters, to really vote those leaders who have respect for everyone, who treats everyone with equal respect, and who sees everyone, regardless of our differences, as the same. It is really important that our country or our locality is led by a person who really embodies respect with one another, because again, once again, we have our differences, and in this time where we have different problems faced, it is really important to have leaders who will lead us towards betterment, and who will lead us with respect with one another.
All right. Same question goes to LUIEVA May Bernados.
Thank you, Mr. Dolier. Well, my message for the voters and for everyone who's listening here is that get to know your leaders, because it is the best thing that we could do as voters, that we get to know our leaders, because that is the exact moment that we should have a real connection with them. Get to know them in a sense that you have a real connection with them, because when we were able to get to know our leaders, we would have um, a clarity whether or not to vote for them. Because as for here in our locality or in whatever social media platform, it is often a big problem that some parties may tend to create videos in particularly in destroying the image of other parties. That's why it's very important that we get to know them personally, not just because for what social media has portrayed them to be. Sometimes it is very important that we have a personal touch and connection with them. In that way, we get to choose the best leaders for our communities. And as a woman of the earth, it is my um, goal that I spread awareness when it comes to social media literacy and, of course, being a more impactful voters.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you so much for answering the third question. But right before we continue with our uh, impromptu Q&A, as I wanted to share, let me just read some of the comments that I would like to read for via the Miss Philippines or Mindanao search Facebook page. Nagatimbaya dinhi sila Agata Sola, si Ronali Hagmok, Mark Ampo Balatukan, Liz Liana Magsipok Lapos, Ronald and Jamaica Bea Estrada Esma. Dagang salamat sa inyong paglantaw sa ato nga live broadcast karon. This is a special interview. Although this is Holy Tuesday, but still this is our collective privilege that we wanted na to know the intellectual minds, the answers to the candidates. So likely you will be seeing them in the soonest possible date. So let's continue with our next question. No commercial break na ni siya because get ready. Ang ako ang pangutana, fourth question. We have social media nowadays. However, there are some instances that social media nowadays are quite made into confusion, of course, that led the mainstream media to be the least trusted, as well as a bias of whoever they would be in. As of course, the editorial independence has garnered a huge loss for the mainstream, while the social media platforms would say otherwise. But as, of course, a woman of the earth and also being an independent community, of course, what can you say about the turmoil between seeking the truth in the line of battles between social media and traditional media that comprises of online news, newspapers, television, and radio? Let's all start with LUIEVA BERNADOS.
Thank you so much, sir, for opening that statement. I know that nowadays in social media, it has been a great problem, especially for those fake news that we heard online. Well, as an influencer, I think that it's time that people get to know digital media fact checked. That's my advice to them. Fact check, know how to fact check information so that we could have a strong um, information, whether it's true or not, because some of the platforms on social media, they have their biases. And I'm very happy that this media stream that you have, Mr. Dolier, I could see the transparency, and I hope that each media, every media here in our country should have that legitimacy and credibility when it comes to portraying and saying information, because that's the right of the people to get to know the truth and to have the truth.
All right. Thank you so much. Same question to GENIROSE CALAMBRO.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Dolier. So my internet has been very, very unstable, but okay. Anyways, as for me, in our society nowadays, we are constantly surrounded by information, right? From social media, traditional media alike. But I believe both have their flaws. Okay, on the one hand, social media spreads information fast, but often without fact checking, which leads to disinformation and public confusion. On the other hand, traditional media, while considered more credible, can sometimes be biased, depending on political or financial interests. As an instructor and an ESL teacher, I have seen students struggle to distinguish truth from noise, often forming opinions based on misleading content. So, as a woman of the earth and an eco warrior and also an advocate, I believe it's time we prioritize media literacy. We must empower people, especially the youth, to question, verify, and think critically. Because only when we know the truth can we stand for justice, equality, and real progress in our community. I'm very glad to have this social media nowadays because we can express our opinions, but of course, we need to be mindful and we need to verify the sources. Once again, When we know the truth, we can stand for justice and equality and real progress in our community. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Same question to Queenie Marie DAQUIO.
Okay, so for starter, I am a campus journalist. I've been a campus journalist for a long year or since elementary. So one thing that I really learned from being a campus journalist is we really have to fact check. And with that, as mentioned, our social media nowadays is really filled with misinformation, and with that, it has now become an individual duty for each and every one of us to really fact check, to look for credible sources, to ensure that what we read is the truth and what we see online is the factual information. And with that, it is really best to really educate ourselves and to assess the information that we digest in ourselves. Through that, we can be able to really look for sources that are credible and to um, get informations that are really the truth. With that, it has now become an individual duty for us to really assess the information, to assess the people behind that information or the people behind that news. And through that, we can be able to really know what to believe and know what to really neglect or to really reject. And through that, I believe that it is best to also remind everyone that we really have to fact check to know if that information posted or that news being published is the fact or the information, and if it is unbiased. And that's it. So we really have to fact check and to know who to believe and what to believe.
All right. Thank you very much to answering the fourth question. Here's the fifth question I'd like to ask. I don't want to ruin the momentum, but here is a very debatable and intriguing question. Nowadays, the pageantry has changed its standards because there are single moms, senior citizens, women alike, as well as those who have a darker complexion joining other prestigious pageants. And it lost the essence of some residents of their respective localities to join in their own locality of a pageant due to the fact that the winner is not from the locality that made confusion to the constituents. The question is it high time to restrict imports from different areas to join in a local prestigious pageant? Let's all start with Queenie Marie DAQUIO.
Okay, so for starters, I believe that beauty pageants has its purpose. And the main purpose of beauty pageant, I believe, is for women to carry causes, to share their advocacies, and inspire and empower others. And I believe that if or a pageant has its purpose or has its main goal, I believe that imports can join beauty pageants because if they are to really embody what that certain pageant or that certain locality is looking for their queen, then there is no problem in terms of where they came from or what color they are, what size they are, what age they are. Because again, I believe that beauty pageant really has its purpose. And if they are able to fulfill that purpose and to, make their reign effective and efficient, then I believe that there is no problem whether where you came from, as long as you can be able to represent that locality effectively and efficiently. And of course, uphold the very essence of beauty pageant, which is again to carry causes, to share your advocacy, be an effective role model and a leader to women, and of course, inspire and empower every people or person in that locality. Thank you so much.
All right. Same question goes to Generous Calambro.
So I believe and I reckon that pageant has indeed evolved, and I believe that change is necessary when when it reflects growth, inclusivity, and empowerment. Welcoming single mothers, women of darker complexions, or those who break traditional standards is not a loss of essence. It is a celebration of what being a woman truly means. And that however, I also understand the importance of local representation, especially in community based pageants. It's important that guidelines are clear and that the spirit of the pageant, whether it's the showcase of local pride or maybe broader inclusivity, is honored. For me, as long as a candidate respects the culture, purpose, and the values of the pageant, I think her background should not disqualify her because pageantry is no longer just about beauty. It's about the story she brings, the value she carries, and the positive change she inspires. So that's what I think.
All right, thank you so much, Generous Calambro. Same question goes to LUIEVA Bernados.
Sir, I didn't hear the last part of the question. Could you please repeat it for me po?
Okay, I'll just go on with the portion. So, is it high time that the organizers of the pageant of their localities would restrict imports just so they could give chance to our women who are born in the locality, regardless of their status and their race, their skin color, due to the fact that the pageant has lost essence nowadays due to the inclusivity of some pageants.
Oh, thank you, sir. Well, in reality, sir, pageants have different kinds of, um, let's see, values that they try to uphold and they try to stay within the community. But when it comes to having imports, I think that it just abolishes and diminishes the real beauty of the local pageants. That's why it's called local pageant in the first place. It's because it aims to promote women in their localities and bring them to a higher stage so that their people could be proud of that representative really comes from our municipality, our locality. But if the pageant organizers would allow imports to join, then why not? Because in every pageant, sir, there is always rules and regulations, and the candidates should abide. But as for myself, it really disheartens me when pageant organizers tend to choose the imports rather than those who really came from the roots of that locality. Because based on reality, no one could ever represent your municipality better than a woman who lives within that community.
Right. Thank you so much for the answering of the fifth question. Now, as of course, this is a special interview, I would like to give this momentum to play a little game, which is, of course, like or dislike, because I would give some opinions that I had in mind, and you would answer and explain if it's a like or a dislike. Ladies, are you ready?
Ready?
Okay.
Ready, sir.
Generous?
Ready, sir?
Okay. So here we go. Here it goes. The first, let's just say, the first topic that we will discuss is about um, remarks of a foreigner who discredits the importance of traditional cultures, like or dislike.
Sir, could you please repeat?
Okay. Uh, Again, to reiterate, a person or a foreign national who discredits the traditional cultures of our ancestors in our country, like or dislike. Okay. So the two of them are dislike. How
Dislike.
about you? Uh, all right. All dislike. Explain, Queenie Maridakyo, why dislike?
Okay, so first and foremost, our culture and tradition is the very foundation of our country. It is our identity, and it is best to really inform everyone and remind everyone that discrediting our culture and traditions is like discrediting our identity as Filipinos. So it is really important to remind, especially our foreigners, that if they cannot respect our culture and tradition, then they are not very welcome here in our country because discrediting our culture and tradition is like discrediting our identity, and it is like discrediting us as a country. So why are you here if you cannot respect our culture and tradition?
All right. Luiva May Bernados, why dislike?
Sir, it's very much of a dislike. When a leader disregards our culture, I think that he or she does not deserve to be called a leader because our culture serves as our framework and identity as Filipinos. And as living here in the Philippines, there's so much vibrant cultures that we have here. And even if it's traditional culture or in the present culture, I think that we should have that continuity of the culture identity that we have, regardless of whatever generation we may be in. Because as a woman living with natives and with rich culture, some of my outfits are uh, uh, um, they were made by the people in the highlands areas. And if leaders were to disregard culture, then I think that as a woman, it's such a disheartening that they could not see the value that they give in our country and in our community. And as a woman of the earth, it is always in my heart that I advocate to for culture preservation because individually, it is very much pride of the Philippines that we have a lot of vibrant cultures here. So I think that if leaders were to disregard our culture, then they don't deserve to be called leaders at all.
Right. Last but far from least, Generous Calambro, why dislike?
Okay. Yes, I definitely dislike the idea of okay foreign participation when it results to discrediting our ancestors and culture because our heritage is a reflection of our identity and history, and it's important that we protect for it. Like what I'm wearing now, I'm wearing the accessories of the Bukidnon tribes. And when outsiders take part without a true understanding of our roots or valuing our tradition, it risks undermining the values that have been passed down through generations. And I have seen firsthand how our culture and customs shape our community's strength and unity today. While we welcome diversity and global exchange, it should never come at the expense of losing or even diminishing our cultural pride and legacy of our forefathers. We must ensure that as we open our doors to the world, that we don't lose sight with my culture and traditions that I have grown up with. And as an ESL teacher who teaches students from students in China, I always share them and give them awareness about what culture that I have and bring them pride of where we are.
All right. Thank you. We go on to the second topic. Um, the amendment of our constitution, like or dislike? Okay, there's a like. Any response to Queenie Marie? If like, okay, all agree. Go on first with Luiva May Bernados. Why you like to amend the constitution?
Sir, I'm very not familiar when it comes to constitution, but what I know is that it was made 1987 something. Correct me if I'm
Yes,
wrong. And I
1987
think that,
Constitution. Yes.
it's not realistic anymore. Some of our constitutions does not apply with the reality that's happening in our generation. Let's see, for example, that in our constitution it is that children in conflict with the law should not be imprisoned. Well, I think that it's time that we amend our laws because it's no longer applicable in times here, like reality that we have. I've always believed that there is hope in children in conflict with the law, but in our in the constitution that we have, I don't think that it's empowering anymore, and it's disheartening because as a woman who lives in a community that violence is really present, I think that it's time that we amend it, and not because that it's no longer effective, but it's no longer the reality that's happening. The 1987 Constitution is no longer applicable to what really is the problem that we face here in reality.
Queenie Marie.
Okay, so just like what I've mentioned a while ago, we are living in a country where we have our democratic government, where it should be a government of the people and for the people. And I believe that the very root of this amendment is, of course, for the betterment of our country and for the welfare of our people. And as a pro people myself, I believe that any change or amendment in our constitution, for as long as it everyone or every Filipino in our country can um benefit from, then I am always in favor, for as long as it is for the benefit and for the welfare, for the protection of every Filipino.
Right. Last, Generous Calambro.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I think the amendment of a constitution is a powerful tool for progress. As time change, our society also evolves, and so too must the laws that govern us. However, it's important that any amendments reflect the true needs and the values of the people, and they should be made transparently and inclusively. For example, some amendments can open doors for more economic opportunities or address social inequalities that we are facing nowadays, that is very rampant. And also, but they must also safeguard our core principles like justice, human rights, and the welfare of the people. And especially with our environmental protection, it is vital for our future, and constitutional amendments regarding this issue can make a significant impact. And I believe as a society, we must ensure that these are enforced and that those who harm our planet are held accountable so that we can protect it for future generations. So that's it, sir.
All right. Let's go on to the third topic. Showing poverty in a vlog for the content. Like or dislike? Okay. So, I don't see Queenie Marie. What's her response? Dislike? Okay. First and foremost, LUIEVA May BERNADOS. Why dislike?
Well, for me, sir, it's a dislike because as an influencer, we must be able to show, instead of showing negativity in the social media, why not choose um, very positive videos, quality of videos? Because when social media influencers tend to give poverty or portray poverty, it's not so empowering, sir. I know that it's the reality, but sometimes they are using that as a tool for them for personal interest, just like for likes, for greater views, or we know that we could monetize in social media at all social media platforms, and some influencers would use that for their personal interest, and it's very disheartening because as an influencer, I choose to give and provide videos that gives the viewers a little enlightenment because life is already a burden and seeing negative videos on social media it just gives another burden.
Alright. Queenie Marie DAQUIO, your take, why dislike? Seems Queenie has lost our but we'll go turn over muna kay Generous Calambro while waiting for Queenie Marie. Nganong dislike?
Sir. Okay, yes. Definitely dislike, sir. And it's very, because it's very that because came across a vlog, okay, just this morning where the creator visited a community struggling with poverty to film their daily lives. While I understand the intent might have been to raise awareness, but I found it problematic because it felt exploitative. The people in the video were shown in difficult circumstances, but instead of focusing on real solutions or advocating for change, it seemed like their pain was being used as content for views. This is to me diminishes their humanity and struggles. That's why it's very important to approach sensitive topics like poverty, because poverty is one of the biggest problem in the world. So we should approach this sensitive topic with respect and dignity rather than treating them as a form of entertainment for the sake of gaining followers or likes. So that's it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go on. All right, let's go on. Queenie Marie, nganong dislike?
Okay, so actually, sir, I'd like to change my vote. Instead of dislike, I'd have like this. It
Okay.
means that I am in the middle
Okay.
because right now, sir, one thing that I've observed with our influencers is that there are two contents that they tend to do. First is for fun and entertainment, and second is to raise awareness. Now, if the content regarding the poverty is for entertainment or fun, of course, I definitely disagree with that one because I believe that poverty is not something that we can laugh off or we can laugh about. However, if the content is to raise awareness about the situations in that certain area and to raise awareness in terms of fundraising or for looking for ways to help those people, then I am in favor with that because I believe that nowadays that social media has become a very great tool in our everyday life. It is also important to really use it effectively. And if we use that social media to raise awareness, to carry causes, to help other people, then now it can now become a tool that is effective to solve certain issues like poverty, to really help those who are in need. So with that, I believe that it depends on the purpose of the content. If it is for fun and entertainment, then I greatly disagree. But if it is for awareness to really help those who are suffering from poverty, then I am in favor of that.
All right. Go on second to the last of our topics. Here is the fourth one. Uh Going with the flow for social issues, then joining armed struggle for a change, a like or dislike. Okay, again, Loiba May. All right. Again, ang fourth topic, pakiga sulod. Ako nang Bisayon ha. Makiga sabay sa social issues, then pakiga join sa armed struggle just for something na sa ilahang kabag-uhan, but eventually I don't know if it's a like or a dislike for you. Ano, murag naglisod ang ato ang mga candidates ba? It's
I'm
quite
sorry, kind of hard to comprehend with the question.
okay. Okay, sige. Ako lang ano, iusab lang nako ang pangutana. Nakisakay lang ba sa mga issues that you always see in the streets? Then daw ang solusyon armed struggle. Like or dislike? Okay. Okay. Dislike. Duang dislike. Si GENIROSE, nipilit ang video. Pero unahon sa nato ang voto why dislike si LUIEVA May Bernados.
Well, as what I can comprehend to the question, sir, it refers to makisakay sa issue and going to the personal interest, as what I can comprehend. Well, as for me, sir, there are a lot of social issues that we face. And some people, political or personal interest, they might have it. And sakayan na nila nga issue regarding that social issue. Well, as a woman of the earth, I think it's very important that we choose the fight that we want to join, because not all kinds of problems are actually problems, because some are just in it's not factual anymore. So I think that instead of joining the social issue, why not make impacts that could create a better community? Instead of going through with the problem, why not make a solution for whatever problem and causes that we try to implement?
All right. Next is Generous Calambro. Why dislike?
Okay. Yes, I strongly dislike the idea of using armed struggle for change. While it's very normal to feel frustrated with social issues, but then violence only creates more harm and suffering. I reckon that real change comes from peaceful solutions like talking, understanding, and working together, or what we call diplomacy. Armed conflict causes damage to everyone involved and doesn't bring lasting peace. So it can really affect the people, especially the children. So instead of going down that path, we should focus on building a fairer society through peaceful means and cooperation. So that's what I think, sir.
Last, si Queenie Marie DAQUIO.
Okay, so first, sir, we are presented with two choices. First is to go with the flow with the issues, and second is for armed struggle for change. And first, sir, I would like to talk about first going with the flow. And I really disagree with the thought of going with the flow, especially now that we really have the power to change perspectives or to share our opinions. And second is the armed struggle. I'm also disagreeing with the armed struggle for change, because I believe that there are other ways for us to actually create change. And again, just like what has been mentioned, armed struggles really result to violence, and it can really hurt those who participate in that. And one thing that I've observed also in our society of today is that armed struggle is not that effective anymore. People tend to ignore those who are crying for justice or for help in rallies. And most of the time, people really tend to be hurt rather than to be heard. And with that, I believe that there are different means or medium for us to really voice out our concerns and to create change in our society. For instance, through social media, through using our voices, through using our social media platforms in sharing our opinions, sharing our perspectives, informing others, and of course, empowering them to see situations in our society. Through that, we can be able to really inform others, inspire others to take part in the change and initiative, and of course, avoid harm and to avoid violence. Because I believe that through using our voice, through using platforms that could not really result to violence and hurting our Filipino people, then it can be as effective as going there and being hurt instead of being heard. Again, we now have the power to really not just talk or to share, but also to inform others and empower others. And I believe that if we are to go with the flow and to choose violence rather than peace, then we are being or we tend to become the problem, not the solution that our society really needs.
All right. We go on to our last topic. It's either you like or dislike. Love sa boyfriend over love for the environment. Like or dislike? Okay. So, unahon sa nato si Queenie Marie nganong dili kauyon sa gugma sa uyab over love for the environment.
Okay, so for starters, sir, that is actually a very easy question because there is no choices for me since I do not have a boyfriend. But of course, as a woman of the earth, I believe that it is really time for us to really prioritize our mother nature, especially that we are facing a lot of environmental problems. We have our climate change, we have our floods, and that really impacts our daily living. And it is really important to remind everyone that before we love others or before we share our love to others, we should also give a large amount of love to our mother nature, which is the very source of our daily living and our daily necessities. Because right now, sir, one thing that I really observed and this heartens me in our society of today is that we are aware and we know in ourselves that we are the problem. We are the biggest contributor to the problems of our environment, but we are really not doing anything to change ourselves and we really tend to not give enough effort to preserve and mend our environment and our mother nature. And if time comes that we really have nothing, that our mother nature could really not provide enough resources for us, then it is really our loss. So with that, I believe that it is really time. I really encourage everyone to really love our mother nature and to really participate in actions and things that could help us mend our natural resources and of course preserve our mother nature because once again, just like what is just like the very common or very known quotation, our natural resources or our mother nature can survive without us, but we humans cannot survive without mother nature, and we should really not to wait for the time that our mother nature could no longer provide natural resources. We should really start now in mending and preserving our natural resources.
All right. Si LUIEVA May, what's your answer to the question? Like or dislike? Love sa uyab over love sa kinaiyahan.
As you can see, sir, I gave two downsides sa dislike. It's because as for me, loving a person is very complicated. As if you were to love the environment, it just reciprocates the love back to you. Human beings are such a complicated individuals for me. And I know that in myself too that I am complicated and very hard to love. So if I were to choose whether to love environment or my boyfriend, I'd rather choose loving the environment because at least it reciprocates the love to me, to us, the human beings. So even if I do not love my boyfriend, if I love the environment, then he will also become one of the contributing factors that the love would be given back to the humanity.
All right. Last but far from least, Generous Calambro.
Okay, so thank you, sir. So I'm having a problem with my camera. I don't know, it cannot be open, but okay, anyways, I believe it's very possible to love both my boyfriend and the environment because love for someone is I think about building a meaningful relationship and supporting each other and growing together. At the same time, loving the environment means taking responsibility for the world we live in and doing our part to protect it. And thankfully, my boyfriend is a sustainable development major who also shares this love for the environment, which makes our relationship even stronger. We both believe that caring for the planet is an essential part of our future. And these two loves don't have to be separate, they can complement each other. So I think together we can strive to make a sustainable choices that benefit both our relationship and world around us. So let's spread love. So that's it,
Wow.
sir.
Playing safe. And that's about it
Sana
for
all.
this queue of our like and dislike. Because since we have passed 1 hour of our discussion, this is just the beginning of what you will see soonest for the schedule of activities. Kay pasaylo ako sa mga media, nag-una-una ko pag-interview sa atong mga kandidata. But of course, you will see them this coming after election na lang siguro nga we will just post it na lang sa atong mga means of communication through Kadangpan Digital Facebook page, YouTube channel, and of course, the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao Search Facebook page. So right before we bid farewell, can you give the closing remarks and the message of your fans, if any? Let's all start off in alphabetical order by surname Loiva May Cortez Bernados. Abbas!
Abbas! Thank you so much, Mr. Dolier. Well, hi, everyone. And just so you know, sir, not a lot of people knew that I joined Miss Earth Mindanao, but I think this is the right time for me to let them know that I joined today. I joined. So I am LUIEVA May Cortez Bernados, 24 years of age, a candidate for Miss Earth Mindanao, and I hope you guys watch live or via live stream or in person, which will be held in Davao on April 30. And I think it's still tentative, but I hope you guys would have the support and love for me as your candidate representing Medina, the home of the 7 festivals of Misamis Oriental.
Yes. All right, before Generous Calambro, I would like to inform that after my playing of the Tayo'y Dabawenyo, I played the 3 hymns of your localities in Medina, Panabo, and Malaybalay in Bukidnon, brother. Let's go on the closing remarks of Generous Calambro, the former Miss Malaybalay 2023.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. And apologies, okay, for technical problem. I cannot open my camera,
It's okay.
everyone. So once again, salamat tungkay for tuning in and for your unwavering support. I'm truly grateful to have each of you in my corner. I believe some of the people who you shout out, Sir Dolier, are my okay, friends. So thank you so much. Your encouragement and support keeps me motivated every day. And of course, a special thanks to you, Mr. Dollier, for this incredible opportunity and for your invaluable support throughout this process. So I couldn't have done it without you. Once again, I am Generous Calambro from the cool place with warm people, city of Malaybalay. Daghang salamat.
Yes, and last but from least, the pride of Panabo City, Davao del Norte, the former Binibining Panabo 2024, Queenie Marie DAQUIO. It's letter day.
Okay, so first, good evening once again, mabuhay ug madayaw, Davao. I am Queenie Maridakio, 22, from the banana capital of the Philippines, Panabo City. And I'd like to take this opportunity to, of course, thanks my friends who are currently watching our live right now, my family, and of course, the very supportive local government unit of my city, headed by our City Mayor Honorable Jose Iri Lampagos, who are very supportive. Every Panaboan, sir, are really supportive with my journey here in Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao, because I had missed opportunities throughout my reign as Binibining Panabo. And right now, I am really feeling energetic and excited for this journey, not just for myself, but of course for every Panaboan who believes and who is continuously supporting me to my journey. And I encourage everyone to really support me in this journey, and of course to support um, the media outlet that would be handling the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao. I encourage everyone to follow our Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao page, and of course the Kadangpan digital news online page, so that you will be able to be updated on the news about this pageant. So I'd like also to thank everyone behind this successful live now, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity for us to be able to share our thoughts and opinions to other people as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but actually, I am the only man, a one-man show. I do the live, I do the anchoring, reporting, graphic artist, editing as well. I'm a one-man show, for God's sakes, Bitaw. But anyway, thank you for taking the time. LUIEVA May Bernados, Queenie Marie DAQUIO, and Generous Calambro for your precious time with us. And I hope we'll see each other for the schedule of activities. And taga na to naghigayon nga extended ang atuang panahon na ongoing ang Miss Kadangpan Netizens Choice Awards. Sa mga wala pa nakabotar sa unsay pilion ninyo na bet na candidate for the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao search, please go to the Kadangpan Digital Network Facebook page, follow, and you can tap the candidate of your choice. Walay like, walay care, walay wow reacts, heart reacts lang ang pwede. So, the deadline is going to be announced next week. So, sunod semana, ato na nga tagan og panahon na makahinabi ang tulupak ang mga kandidata sa ato ang special live interview. But once again, thank you, LUIEVA May Bernados, Queenie Marie DAQUIO, and Generous Calambro. O kini ang inyong ubos nga lagad, ang inyong kadangpan, Carlo Dolier. Dagan kayong salamat ug maayong gabi kanatong tanan. Salamat sa nga nagalantaw sa Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao search Facebook page ug sa Kadangpan Digital Network Kadangpan Digital Facebook page ug YouTube channel. Thank you and have a great night ahead. Dili nato pwede biyaan ang atuang live kung walay biya sa atuang pamalandong pulong sa atuang mga kandidata karong Martes Santo. Paminaw pag-ayo sa atong mga nagalantaw karon. Bulawanong pulong karong Martes Santo gikan sa kasulatan sa Marcos Kapitulo 9 versikulo 23. Nganong miingon ka man kun makahimo ang tanan mahimo sa tao nga may pagtuo, miingon si Jesus. Daghang salamat og maayong gabi kanatong tanan, malipayong Martes Santo kanato og ugma mag-broadcast gyapon kita sa atuang pipila ka mga painumdom sa atong mga pag-abot sa taliabot nga Semana Santa. Daghang salamat og maayong gabi, amping perminti.
On its 10th year, Mindanao's biggest pageant and the only international pageant that promotes the preservation and protection of the global environment is set to conquer once again the bigger stage and platform. Carousel Productions Incorporated and MBV Events Productions in cooperation with IPI and RC Dental Center, presenting the 10th edition of the Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025. Witness the freshest and the most environmentally driven women warriors of Mother Earth as they compete for the most coveted Mindanao edition's crown and titles of Earth, Air, Water, Fire, and Ecotourism. Be prepared, be brave, be an Earth warrior. The Miss Philippines Earth Mindanao 2025. Soon. This event is also in partnership with Moonlight Events and Productions.